So you want to know how to handstand. Well, in today's video, we are taking the next step in our handstand progression, and we're going to go out on the gym floor and demonstrate how to condition your core. We spoke about body positioning in last episode and how important it is, because we are essentially learning to defy gravity. We were not designed to stand on our hands. Human beings are not so good naturally at inversion. But you're going to learn how to overcome gravity in today's video. I've got my extra special guest, Kalisha, joining me again, and because she is a working mom, she has our kids here. This is my son, Kobe, and we have our other son, Elijah, in the studio today. So bear with us. We're going to rip through this. Our babysitter is away. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image. We're back. Now, are you going to look at the camera, or are you going to look at yourself in the screen down there? It's cool, isn't it? Guys, welcome. Thank you. In case we haven't met, my name is Yanni Baumeister. I am the co-founder of Unity Gym here and the Foundation Movement System online. As I said, this is my amazing and slightly better looking partner, Kalisha. And these are our kids. And this is how we get it done when we don't have a babysitter. How are you feeling today, Cal?
I'm good, thank you.
Good?
Yep, I'm very sore from yesterday's workout. Not the video we did, but I did a lower body session and my legs are sore to even touch. So I apologise, I'm a little bit slow.
Yeah, that's why I've got Kobe on my lap today, because she's too sore to have him on her lap over there. That's good. Yeah, Tuesday for us in the Foundation Movement System is squat day, so we train lower body. And it's always interesting once we come back from being away a little bit, training again. I actually trained a few times whilst we were away. We had a gym across the road, very strategic. But Kalisha has to do what she can do because she's often got kids to contend with, just like today. Mm-hmm. So today we're talking about body positioning. Yes. And this is a really fun topic because core training is one of the key elements of the handstand, and this is one of the reasons why we consider it a benchmark skill, right? Mm-hmm. The handstand for us is a benchmark skill because it benchmarks specific requirements in the body, such as wrist conditioning, which we showed you. Did we show you that yesterday? Yeah. Yep, we showed you the wrist conditioning in the last episode. Shoulder mobility, which we also sort of demonstrated a little bit in the warm-up yesterday. We're going to go deeper into that later in this series. And core strength. Because whenever we do calisthenics, and any movement really, the core is responsible for supporting the spine. The core musculature is super important. Are you wanting to get up and walk around, or are you hanging out here? You hanging out here? Yeah. Don't freeze. You're on camera. You're live to the whole world. Say hello. Hello. This is your big moment, mate. Make the most of it. Yeah, we basically need to develop a sufficient core strength for every movement. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're doing deadlifts, bench press, squat, or calisthenics movements like the handstand. It's particularly important when we're using our body as leverage, because if we can't hold our body still and straight, then obviously the levers fall apart. So I really like the core training principles, and I love the handstand for that because it benchmarks a baseline in core strength that you have to have achieved for every other calisthenics movement. Now, the key to today's episode is simplicity. Now, there are obviously a myriad of different ways to train your core, and we dive much deeper into that in our foundation movement system. But for the purposes of a handstand and performing a straight line handstand, we're about to get attacked by a 1.5-year-old. It is super important that you keep it simple and try and mimic to the best of your ability the position that your body needs to learn to be in when you're inverted upside down. And that's what we're about to demonstrate out on the gym floor. So let's go out. We're going to go out on the gym floor, buddy. And we're going to demonstrate some movements. Mummy's going to demonstrate some movements. So we got Richie on the gimbal cam again. We got our little army of helpers here who are going to come out with us while they decimate sandwiches and other things. All right, I got my coffee in hand. Beautiful. So, we're going to go straight in to the most simple, basic, and also some of the hardest core exercises that you're ever going to do. Kalisha's just running off to close the fire exit to our gym. We do have cleaners in here right now. We have a quiet time after the morning sessions are finished where our cleaners come in and clean up.
I prefer it closed.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so today we're going to demonstrate what's called the front and back body line. These are a staple movement in our Foundation Movement System online program. It is a go, no-go progression. This is the basic core standard that we set for people. And there are a few ways that we can load this up, which I will show you today as well. So the first progression of this is the back body line. You stand back here because I know you're going to attack Mummy. So what we're looking for here first of all is that Kalisha is obviously activating and supporting through the core and abdominal muscles, okay? So the way she does that is she lifts up like a dead bug here. We're looking for scapula, shoulder blades on this side off the floor. Just be gentle with him, buddy. Just be gentle with him, okay? But you help us with him, okay? That's your job. Now she's going to slowly lower the levers down. So she's shortening the leverage here at the start. Then she's lengthening the levers to put more load on the core. Now this is very challenging for Kalisha because she's obviously had 2 kids and she's had her abdominals completely decimated by pregnancy and carrying children. That in itself, what she's just demonstrated, is the first progression. The higher the feet and hands stay, the shorter the leverage, the easier it is on the abs. The more she brings those feet and hands down, snap kick to the head. The more she brings that down to the ground, the lower we go now, the harder it is for her to keep that hollow body position and the harder it is on her abdominals, okay? So what we aim for in our Foundation Movement System is 60-second hold with the feet down nice and low. From that point, we can start to load it more difficultly. And the first thing we do is we add a weight plate to the dowel rod, which is beyond what Kalisha can do really well. So I won't really ask her to do too much demonstration with that. So that's the first thing that we do. And now with a bit of extra weight on here, we're really, really loaded. And then from here, once we've loaded the dowel rod, the next thing we do is we put dumbbells across the feet here, across the shins. And I usually start with a 3-kilo dumbbell. So the hardest progression of this is loaded legs, loaded hands, with that perfect dish and the feet and hands nice and close. You'll notice that to load the feet, and I'll demonstrate this, keep your hands on the ground because I know this will be hard, especially when you're getting attacked by children. Any of you working mums out there will, oh no, he's smashing Vegemite all over you. Okay, so to be able to do the feet, you have to already be able to keep the feet very, very low. Because obviously, if I apply a dumbbell to her shins there, if she lifts her legs up, that's just going to roll down to her knees, okay? So if you haven't already got the baseline strength where your feet are really low, which means that the leverage is extended all the way, then don't even bother trying to load the feet because you're just going to end up with the dumbbell on your knees or your hips, which is a complete waste of time. So, and I stress this again, guys, with the back body line, it is so important that you have good form. So the key areas that we're looking at, if you lay down again, just lay down this way with your shoulders this end. Probably the most important thing that I'm looking for is that if you come around the side here, Richard, that the back here, see how you can see my hand under here, that is the opposite to what we want. We want her lower back, the lumbar, to be completely flat and compressed into the ground. That's the first cue, because if the lower back arches, the abs have switched off, okay? So the first thing you're looking for is pressure under here. So we flatten the back. Can you see that? Let's repeat that movement again. Arch, flatten, okay? Arch, flatten. What we call that is PPT, posterior pelvic tilt. And that's very, very important. Go into an anterior, APT, anterior pelvic tilt. Go back to posterior, posterior pelvic tilt. This is really, really important and the first thing that I want you guys to focus on here. So once we've got that PPT, posterior pelvic tilt, then she's going to flex her abs even more by lifting the shoulder blades off the floor. Okay, so she's still maintaining that PPT, posterior tilt. I can't put my hand under her lower back. Now as she loads it up, I want to make sure that she maintains that, okay? The moment that that lower back arches, I know that the abs have let go. And if that's happening to you, then you can come higher like this. And if it's still happening to you, we've got to shorten the levers even more. So we go to a bent knee, and we bring the hands down beside the body, and we just do a bent knee, hollow body hold. And if that's all you can achieve right now, that's absolutely fine. There was a time when we all had that progression as well, okay? But for the back body line and the front body line, if you can't establish that posterior pelvic tilt and then brace through the abdominals, the movement is going to be completely redundant for you. So we have to figure out a way of regressing it. Okay, so that is the back body line, back down onto the ground. Now we're going to do the front body line. We're going to roll over. Have I got that right? Yep. Yeah. Just to make sure. Okay, so the front body line, the cues are a little bit different. Now what we're trying to do, in the handstand, when we go into a handstand, the three areas of the body that are under most load and contraction need to be the shoulders, the core and tummy, and the glutes. If we make those three things rigid, then our body becomes one, and these main joints in the body are stiff and stable. And that's super important to control our body weight. So on the front body line, those are the areas that we're looking for. We're looking for glutes tight, tummy hollow off the floor, opposite to what we were doing before, and we're looking for shoulders. We want to condition the shoulders. So, baby, let's get you out of the way. Oh, Elijah, you are so super cute, my man. Okay, so first of all, we're looking for tummy. Squeeze those glutes on. Just back it off again. Show us what you've just done. Squeeze those glutes on. So now you can see that she's getting that pelvic tilt by squeezing the glutes on, okay? Her glutes are rock hard now. Very, very good. Then she's hollowing the tummy. She's pulling her belly button in, switching and engaging the core on to create that beautiful, rigid, straight line. And then she's going to elevate the shoulders off the floor. So she's now loading and working the shoulders. Now we don't load to progress this movement, we don't load the dowel rod very often unless you're super strong. But what we do, Kobe, can you jump around and just entertain Elijah so Richie doesn't have him grabbing the camera? What we do here is we bring the hands in more and more narrow. The more narrow the grip on here, and the more we lift this and push it forward away from the body. So we're elevating the scapula. That's it, mate. Just carry him over here a little bit. Thank you, buddy. You're a good big brother and a good helper. So let's just go through those cues again. Elevate. And then elevate the scapula, push it away as hard as you can. So what Kalish is doing, which you can't really see here, is she's exerting force that way and up. So she's retracting the scapula a little bit and pushing the dowel rod forward. Okay, let's go. Elevate all the way, push it forward. Very nice. Now the more narrow she grips that, the harder that's going to be on the shoulders. So that's how we progress this movement. A lot of people find this movement harder than the back body line. Harder than the back body line. And the reason is because the majority of people, if you've been sitting at a desk and you haven't been working on functional shoulder mobility and flexibility, you're going to have compromised thoracic spine and you're going to have compromised shoulder mobility. And that means that doing this movement will be exceptionally hard for you. Keep working at it. Keep progressing at it. Calisthenics is a game of millimeters. Every little bit counts. So the more you can get that dowel rod off the floor, the more you can push those shoulders forward, the better it will be in the long run. And practice of these two drills is going to unlock the handstand. This is absolutely essential before you even begin to invert. If you can't do these two drills, quite comfortably for 60 seconds each side, front and back body line, then you have no business being upside down, because you won't be able to achieve that rigid body position that holds you in a nice straight line. People, you can always see people who have skipped this progression doing handstands because they have a banana back. The handstand leans over and they have no core strength to hold them in a nice straight line. Now, you might be able to master balancing like that, but it looks like shit. Like, let's be real, it's not a nice straight line handstand. It's the difference between someone dicking around and a gymnast who does a beautiful straight line handstand. You've done the foundation work, you've laid the groundwork, and your body positions are really, really nice. In the next episode, we'll wrap this up in the studio. In the next episode, we're going to start looking at how we go inverted. But the first and most important things we've covered is that warm-up, the body positioning warm-up, the wrist and shoulder mobility and strength drills. Now we've done the core conditioning, and tomorrow we're going to start talking about how we actually progress to inversion. Let's wrap it up inside the studio. Didn't even know what that was. We got a gift. That's for you.
It's our origin stuff.
Origin.
Origin. So it's State of Origin.
Oh. Oh, what? You gotta unpack it live. We got some cool stuff. We're gonna turn this show into a little bit of an unpacking because we've got time.
Origin is for people that don't know.
Yeah. So for all of the, just very quickly, we'll wrap up the concepts of today. Very, very important that you understand that body positioning is a critical go, no-go progress point. The reason why the handstand is such a great #1 priority for calisthenics is because it benchmarks those. Wait a minute.
I'm just going to open
All right. It benchmarks all of those things, and that's why we use it as the first priority for calisthenics. We teach everybody the handstand first, because by the time you've learnt and mastered the handstand, you've transformed, you've basically conditioned the wrists, the hands, the shoulders, you've unlocked the mobility that's needed for all the other calisthenics movements, and you've set a foundation in the core that carries over to everything else. Now, exciting, we have, stop pressing that please. We have a quick little unboxing here. Who is this from?
Best and Less.
Oh, Best and Less. We got and explain it. You explain it.
I explain
Why
it.
are we getting sent free stuff?
On soon.
So in Australia, we have a very big rugby league. We're a bit of a rugby league family. I grew up playing rugby league. For all of the league supporters out there, we have this thing that goes on between two of the states. We have Queensland north from here and New South Wales where we live and reside, and we battle off every year at the start of the year in the State of Origin, and it's a series of 3 games. It's an epic battle. If you haven't ever watched it, if you live overseas, I urge you to check it out. It is absolutely awesome, and we have been sent some gifts from Best and Less.
Yeah, they have some genuine licensed gear, so they've sent us some that we can wear when we watch the game.
Yay!
Cool. So I think there's a jumper for you.
Go the Blues! Woo! Look at that.
T-shirt. Whoops.
Go the Blues.
And that's when the Queenslander viewers
Yeah.
Switched off, yeah.
And some jammies for the boys.
And I got a shirt. Go the Blues.
I think that's for me, that one.
Oh, that's for Kalisha. Yeah, I don't know if I'd wear a love heart on my shirt, but that's all right. And the boys have some jammies.
Jammies.
Yay! Thanks, Best and Less. That's cool.
Thank you very much. We'll be rocking those.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to grab these, they'll be coming out soon in Best and Less, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
absolutely.
get down
I think
and
they're
get your
out now.
kids kitted out and get yourselves kitted out.
Quality jammies.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Got some new jammies.
Got some new jammies.
And they're matching.
All right, guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow for tomorrow's show. We're going to be inverting for the first time, and we're going to show you the drills that we use to bridge the gap between what we've done so far and how to do a freestanding handstand. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Thank you for your patience.
We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of
just
just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.